Hi, so welcome to today's lesson, and we are going to be looking at vibrato. Now, vibrato is a technique that adds character to many of the notes that you play, whether it's going to be in a guitar solo, whether it's a melody, or whether it's some sort of lick, or maybe even a riff in a guitar song. Now, it's not a technique that is limited to just guitar players. Singers use it when they're singing lots of different melodies, particularly modern contemporary artists. Singers that come to mind are people like Adele, use vibrato with her voice, and lots of other singers. It's obviously used in guitar players, used by guitar players as well, and it's also used, historically, it's been used in classical music for many string instruments. The very famous piece by Mozart uses vibrato like this. So vibrato there. You've got players like Brian May from Queen, who uses a lot of vibrato. I think off the top of my head, Killer Queen, he uses it. There we go as well. And it's also not just used in licks and solos, but it's also used in riffs. You've got Richie Sambora from Bon Jovi. You Give Love a Bad Name. There's a very cool riff that he plays underneath the verses. It goes like this. It's got vibrato there. So vibrato is adding that character to the notes you play. I remember when I first started playing, I was doing all the kind of good boy kind of playing the scales sort of thing. So if I was playing a G major scale, I was playing all the notes and it was going well, but I wasn't adding any vibrato. So for example, I was playing things like this. And it got quite stale, but as soon as I discovered vibrato, players like Slash from Guns N' Roses, I listened to a lot of Metallica when I was growing up, and then I started getting into Gary Moore and blues and B.B. King and all those kinds of artists that use vibrato, and it just opened up a whole new world for me of being expressive on the guitar. So that's a technique we're going to look at today. Now, it's a very simple technique, but it's a very very technique if you control it and know how to use it. Now, you've got lots of different players that play all different kinds of vibrato, whether it's slow vibrato. You've got players like Brian May, who's very good at that. If you're going into sort of the genre of metal music, you can get players who use a very harsh vibrato. Zakk Wylde uses a lot of those kind of wild vibratos. He does things like... all those kind of vibratos, really wild. So you can be subtle with your vibrato, or you can be more elaborate with it. Now, vibrato, we're going to start using our third finger, and we're going to go quite high up on the guitar neck. If you're an acoustic player, just go up to a point on the neck where it feels comfortable. If you've got electric guitar, you might want to come a bit higher, where the strings are a little bit lighter and there's not so much tension. So I'm going to come to the B string, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth string from the top, and I'm going to hit fret 12. Okay. That note there. So I'm going to play this note, and I'm going to put my third finger on it, and I'm going to have my hand in a really strong position. So I've got because the notes are quite high, I actually bend my thumb over the fretboard, but you might be comfortable having your finger and your thumb, behind the neck, and you're just going to play that note. But instead of just playing it, you're going to let it ring a little bit by moving your hand and moving that string and bending that string slightly up and down. So we're just holding that string together, and we're just bending it up and down, bending that note subtly, just up and down. It's not quite a semitone, as in the next note up. It's not quite there. It's just bending in between those semitones. That's where a nice vibrato can lie. Obviously, it depends on the context, the song that you are playing in, but we're going to start today with just a very, very subtle vibrato. So, third finger on the B string on the 12th fret. And it's as simple as that. So give that a go with your technique. There's lots of other songs you can use, and I'll post a few songs that you can use. Jeff Beck, "Wish You Were Here," which I think for the first time I heard it was on the air guitar album, the greatest air guitar album in history. I think that was called many, many years ago. But if you look up "Wish You Were Here" by Jeff Beck, you can get an idea of some vibrato. He does use some other techniques, but you can play along with a very, very simple melody. So it goes something like this. You can finish it off with there. Give that a go, and I look forward to seeing what you can do.